Hello Fiberifians, and welcome to another live craft and chat. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here. I am hopped up on tea, on all sorts of things to keep my throat going for today. I've been a bit sick, so I appreciate you all coming back, even though I've been a bit hit and miss the last few weeks, and last week in particular was pretty bad. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, all that kind of jazz. I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat here. We've got lots of people already here. Good morning, chatters. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you. I mean, I would have ripped off the label if I had have thought of that. What I might do is, there's a whole side of the package that's got no labels on it. So I can hold it, that side down. So the last sort of couple of minutes before I live stream, I run around and do some things, and then because I've tested colors and stuff on the down camera, but I haven't cleared the space away so that we can, do the reveal. And I don't have any stitch markers on me. Gosh, I'm a numpty. That's what happens when a courier comes at the last minute, and I have to sort of run away. Yeah. So I'm just going to move those. They can stay, I suppose. All right. In the chat, hello everybody. We've got lots of people already jumping in. Welcome, welcome, and thank you for joining in the Fiberific live chat. If you are watching the replay, thank you for taking the time as well. And make sure you pop your comments in. Just treat it like you're live, and I respond to all the comments, or all the nice ones anyway. Good morning, Chintamani. Welcome to the chat. I am starting to feel more human. Yes, thank you, Lindsay. I did a Patreon Zoom yesterday for those of you that could make it, and it was also to test out how long my voice can go through the warmer hours of the day. At night my voice is just rubbish, and first thing in the morning it's not great either. But in the warm hours of a Queensland winter's day, then it's normally pretty good. That's just the face cam going because I forgot to hit that button too. So yeah, alrighty, let me have a look here in the chat. Yeah, I am starting to feel better for sure. Live chat thumbs up. Thank you, Kathy. I wanted to say, and I don't think I got to say it yesterday in the Patreon Zoom chat, but I just want to say a huge thank you to those of you that do support Fiberific over on Patreon. It's you guys in particular that make it so I can have the lights and the good webcam and the connections that I have to run the internet out to my little shed. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you who every month, even though there's not a lot in it for you, one of the perks that you're supposed to get as a Patreon supporter is early access to my pre-record videos. And as I haven't done any pre-record videos since I think about January, and then it was a bit hit and miss before that anyway. So I really want to say thank you to those of you that just sort of stick it out and just support me anyway. And that's why we did a little bit of an impromptu Zoom chat. The Zoom chat is generally just for people who subscribe $15 a month and over, but I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do something a bit special because I feel that it's not fair. So that was a lot of fun. It was very short notice. I am going to do another one for all the Patreon supporters with a bit more notice. It was sort of just an impromptu. I'd never done one with the Patreon, with a group of Patreon like that before, so it was cool. I tried to do a pattern yesterday. It didn't go through. Do you mean Patreon? I know that one of the other ladies had a problem as well. She had to try again. It was, I don't know what the deal was. Patreon was just being a bit of a butt face, really. So don't feel like you've missed out. If you really want to go in and jump in and do another Patreon month, then do so, because coming up shortly within the next couple of weeks, I'll be doing another Patreon members only Zoom chat. Where are we? I'm just having a quick squiz through the chat. You guys are all cheeky. I just like to get that out there. You're all very cheeky. So I'm just going to have a sip of my tea, because I probably should have had, this is my cup. I'm turning the cup. That's what that noise was. I'm using my Fiberific Hedge of Ninja mugs. I realised as I was walking out of the house this morning, I am merched up today. I've got my Hedge of Ninja mug full of my T2, not a sponsored tea. Please, T2, have a think. If you'd love to support a really small creator, then you could support me by, giving me tea. I've got my T2 tea, my Hedge of Ninja cup. I needed my little pouch. So in my little pouch, I've got my Hedge of Ninja pouch. This is the small pouch, because I needed my clover hook and my little clover chibis. And also, there's a stitch marker, woot woot. And some little scissors for what I want to do today. I have just thrown my stitch marker on the floor. Do I have more is the question? And the answer is no. Oh, there's one more in there. There's one more. Yay. And they're my favourite ones. Do you know? Okay, guys. Am I the only one who has a favourite crochet stitch marker? Look, I know I'm a tragic when it comes to my knitting stitch markers. But for years and years and years, with my crochet stitch markers, I'm like, yeah, whatever works, works. Well, now I'm obsessed with these little clover, that's not going to focus because I don't have autofocus. It's the little clover ones that look, I'm going to try and push it in my hand. They look like little sheep. And I just love them. I don't know why I love them so much, but they've got a really fine little tip, so it's really great for using on 4-ply. So I now have a favourite crochet stitch marker, which I didn't realise until I was working on this project and I was grabbing different markers, because I was just like whatever's in the bowl next to me, and I really did try to get these ones, so that was pretty cool. You better appreciate that tea. I ended up taking COVID exposure for that. I know, Kim, I'm so sorry. I don't have a T2 store near me, and I always forget to order it online in time for it to get to me when I need it. Whereas Kim or Spanichick has a T2. I wouldn't say it's totally near her, but it's definitely closer to her than to me. And she picks me up my T2 tea and brings it to me. And then we had like a problem with some people with COVID not self-quarantining, and they went to that shopping centre. So I really do appreciate it, Kim, a lot. I have ninjas behind me too. I have my ninja bag. Yes, my Hedge of Ninja project bag. I love that project bag. It's such a good size bag. If you want to get your own Hedge of Ninja, or even just a little ninja, you can get little single ninja things as well. I like the obviously I'm into the whole thing. You can totally jump over to the Fiberific Redbubble merch store and check out some of the options that I have over there. Heidi Ross says, I have hundreds of favourite stitch markers. Game Widow says, I have favourites. Freaky says, my favourite anything is whatever works is there to be used and not broken or missing. I mean, and that's me too, honestly. Kerry Randall says, they are my favourite. Yes, the fine tip is great. I love it. Orb says, I do now. You made me realise there were different types, and I have alpaca stitch markers. Oh, that is so cute. I love the Clover locking markers, but I haven't tried the sheep ones yet. Now, I don't think Clover calls them sheep or anything like that. I can't think of what they're called. They're just more of the Clover locking stitch markers, but they're little wiggly sheep ones. I mean, am I just projecting that they look like sheep? Hang on. This one on the floor is bugging me, so I've just got to pick it up. It's not a sheep one. It's just a stock standard Clover one. Okay. All right, guys. So those of you that are watching the live, you get to decide first. Are we going to talk about what I'm going to do with all my leftovers from making 11 billion minis for the sock kits? Or would you like me to unbox or debag what just arrived from the courier, which was I think it's my final thing to come in from the big wool show. So let me know in the chat. Shintami sends blinglets for knitting and the ones I make for crochet. Oh, there you go. That works. Freaky says, I was going to try making ninja key rings, but I'm still waiting on mail I ordered back in May. I understand those feels. I had I actually ordered some stickers from Redbubble, but because they were coming from the US and it was just 2 stickers in a little pouch, they took forever. They arrived the day before yesterday. Open the box, courier, parcel. Knitspin Girl says, I haven't tried the sheep ones, but the plastic stitch markers always break on me. So, yeah, look, I have had a problem with that as well. I mean, I've only been using these ones for a little while, so I can't speak to their longevity, but I've been using this particular one single packet of these that I bought and opened. I've been using them now for, what, it'd be 18 months? And the fact that I've lost heaps of them, they're really good. Stop talking and open the box. Oh my God. Okay, well, hang on a second. Let me just move some things because then I'll put the top-down camera on. Moving the things. Okay. I might need some scissors. Do I have scissors? I did have some little scissors here a second ago. Scissors. All right. Let's go with the double camera. Woot woot. Hello. Here we go. This parcel just arrived. It's got 2 of something in it. I can feel it. I've seen on the front it's from Heather Made. I'm not going to flip it over just because it's got my address on it. So I think this is my last. Oh no, it's my second last. I've got one more thing. I've got fleece that I ordered that's still got to arrive. We have a piece of paper which I'm just going to check out. Awesome. Just an invoice with a little note on it. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, there's a little bonus in here. These are Heather Made self-striping. Now, did I order the 4-ply or the 8-ply? I'm just double checking. I think I got the 4-ply. No, 8-ply. 2 balls. Because I was thinking that's pretty thick for an 8-ply. Okay. I got 200 grams of Heather's self-striping 8-ply sock, which is a wool nylon, and it's speckled and striped. So check that out. Oh my gosh. I've got 2 of them. You guys need to get at me over on the Fiberific Fun Zone with links for patterns that I can make with self-striping yarn in 8-ply. Oh, I've got 200 grams. Whoa! These colours, Heather, if you are watching, these colours are beautiful. I'm just having this yarn is prepared using only the highest quality professional dyes. The nature of hand dyeing is that some excess dye may remain even though it rinses clear during preparation. If this happens, add a dash of vinegar to the first couple of washes if any bleeding occurs. I recommend hand washing in lukewarm water with minimal detergent. Heather Made can be found on Etsy, Facebook, Instagram, and Ravelry. This is the blue heel, so it's speckled and striped. Oh my gosh, Josephine, now I wish I'd ordered some of that self-striping yarn from Heather Made. You totally need to order some self-striping yarn from Heather Made. It is gorgeous. It feels amazing. Wow. And there's a little package in here. I don't know what this is. Little bonus package. Oh, no. I know what this is. Oh my God. It's the Lamade, the alpaca mer. Oh my God, what was it called? It's this thing. It's she knows how much I love pins. It's an alpaca and a mermaid. Merpaca? I don't know, but it's so cute. Oh wow, so cute. That's that. That's what I got in my parcel. I'm pretty happy about that. pop the bubbles. I could pop some bubbles. You can buy the alpaca mers or oh my gosh, I need to know what they're called. So, can somebody look them up for me? If you go to Heather Made on Etsy, you can buy the badges. She might be out of stock at the moment. She's normally very organized though, so if she is out of stock, she'll have a date for when they're back in. Wow. I got the 4-ply self-stripe from Heather Made too. It's so lovely. I picked up a 4-ply stripe from, I wonder if I can roll back there, from Half Baked Yarns, Half Baked Hand Dyed. Come here, little ball. I got this one from Half Baked Hand Dyed, which is a beautiful soft self-striping yarn. It's called Lita. But yeah, it's pretty cool as well. But these colors, oh my god. Anyway, put them aside. Wow. All right. Just checked it. Merpacker. Thank you, Merpackers. Bubble popping is so satisfying. Yes, it is. It is. All right, you guys. So the Fiberific Rainbow Sock Kits are back for pre-order. Now, there's a few people still waiting. I've got their rainbows ready. I just need to dye up some more grey. I did not allow enough. I dyed up a mixture of like, this is the mist and the koala and the grizzle, and I hadn't dyed up enough grizzle. I think I'm waiting on. So if you're waiting on grizzle, it's just a day or two away. It's just drying. So I've got their rainbows. But what happens is, to make these up, each one of these colours is actually an individual skein, okay? So they are, there's all their little, you know, ties and things to keep them tidy. They're all individual, but I've just twisted them all together to make it look pretty. What do you think? Do you think it looks pretty? So what happens though is I dye these in their 100 gram skeins, then I wind them into balls, and then I feed them through my motorized skeiner until I get to my 5 grams for each colour. Okay, so it's 5 to 6 grams. I'd rather go a dash over than a dash under. That bugs me when you get something that's not the weight you asked for. So I try really hard not to do it. Now, weather can play a part in that, and I'm 100% aware of that. But I really try hard to make sure that we get enough. So I wind these from cakes down into these little mini skeins, okay? But what happens, right, is I have all these little bits left over from all the colours because I don't have the exact, you know, number of grams, right? So I don't want to waste these, okay, at all. So I need suggestions for what I can make. They're probably around sort of anywhere from like 2 to 4 grams in each colour that I have. Like some of them are 6, and I could probably technically hold on and wait and see if the next batch is a bit light. But I don't want to waste it, because when I did my last lot of rainbow socks, like 2 years ago, when I did the last sort of iteration of the rainbow socks, I had all these leftovers, and I've still got them. And the problem is now that I feel guilty using them up, because whenever I make something sampley, I like to make a sample, and I don't do sunflower anymore. So so these are all in the Pegasus sock yarn, so they're not in the sunflower, which is good. Freaky Geek saying bonbons. What are bonbons? I'm not quite sure what that is. Weren't you making a granny square blanket with my scraps? Look, I was. I don't have that project here. I was, but I also wanted something else. Like, so I've started trying to have a go at doing like a little mitered square crochet blanket, because look, I'll tell you why. I love the granny squares, and I do intend to continue making a granny square in every single color that I dye. And that uses 2 grams of a color to do that. But I wanted something that was a bit more, that could show what happens when the stitches are closer together. And I really don't enjoy, I have to say, doing the mitered square that I was doing in the knit. So does that make sense? So I need something for knitting and for crocheting where there are blocks of color, because I want to be able to have like, this is this color and this is this color. I want to be able to have like little blocks of color and go from there. I'm just going to run back through the chat here because I'm missing stuff. Lego Bob got an awesome ball from Heather Maid. Yeah, I love that they're coming to you in such perfect balls. No one here does it. Yeah, these if you're talking about these are hand rolled by the dyers, and normally only people who are doing self-striping socks go to that effort because I want you to see the sections of colors. So, yeah. Where are we? I love the rainbow kits. They're so pretty. They are really pretty, and I love them. And I saw a message that I think it was it Lindsay or Pippin, who'd been waiting for ages for me to re-release the sock kits, and there's a here waiting for some color, waiting for their grays. And yeah, it was just, look, one of those things is it's a big task coming up A with 14 colors, and then B turning them into the mini skeins. It's like every time I have to do it, I'm just like, okay, people are going to make beautiful rainbow things. Lindsay says Tin Can Knits has a polygon blanket that I have my eye on for small bits. I'm just going to write down that polygon. And that's knitted, isn't it? Because she's a knitter. Polygon from Tin Can Knits. So guys, I've just realised my voice is getting croaky again, so just bear with me, okay? It'll go in and out, and it'll be annoying. Having the hard conversation says, what about a Battenberg crochet blanket? I don't know what that is. I'm just going to write it down as well. Where are we? You should do a Tunisian miter square. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I definitely think, like, I've done a couple because I wanted to see how much yarn they used to get like a reasonable size. You know, it doesn't have to be huge because, you know, I don't want to have to like continuously wait for the next batch to finish the square kind of thing. I'd like to do it out of the scraps from one. Excuse me, if I could. But yeah, so I mean, and I like this. As far as the mitered square goes, it was not difficult to do. I sat and did these one night, just watching a little bit of telly. So that was cool. Pippin was the one waiting forever was Spanish. Thank you. This one, there we go. Such beautiful colours when they're all together like that. Yeah, they really are. Heidi says that the rainbow sock kit is amaze balls. Have my tiny skeins all balled ready, but just bound off my current sock project. Now I can ball the koala and get started. Oh my gosh, Heidi, I can't wait to see. Please tag me on Instagram or however you plan to, you know, share your photos. I really want to make sure I don't miss and see how they look. You do little coloured squares and intersperse it amongst a block colour, usually white. Okay, I like that. Kind of like what I did with the other blanket that's behind me. Hi, Holly. Knitting's not hard. No, knitting's just different. It's not hard. Yeah, so I mean, now I'm like, I want to check out what these other patterns are. I might even do that. So that's the polygon. Because like, you know, new laptop doesn't crash whenever oh, it's a video. I don't know. Here we go. I want to have a, oh, I like that shape. If anyone's having a look, I wonder if I can, I'm not going to risk adding a screen sharing. Do I have a screen share? Let me see. We can go screen. All right, sorry guys, I had to add a microphone to this screen. So I'm just gonna bring this, just double check because I now don't have your chat. Can you guys see everything? I'm just gonna bring the blanket over this other screen. I hope you guys can still see it. No, you can't because I'm a numpty. Bring it back. All right, I can't do what I want to do. All right, but I love that shape. I'm just having a little quick squiz. That's a really interesting shape because that's the thing. Like I was just getting really bored with the squares. But the question is, do you join it by picking up the stitches? Because I hate picking up stitches. Okay, so they're using a DK weight. Has anyone made one? Do you have to pick up 11 billion stitches? There we go. I really like that. I'm scrolling back. Where are we? Solid DC granny blocks and then join with another color. I mean, that's an option. How do tin cans craft? I've never. Anyway, that's very funny. That's so pretty, interesting colors. I think you just make whatever size as long as they are all the same. I like that too. It stretches out to hexes. Yeah, I like it. Sort of, it does. Yeah, they kind of open out a little. This is my first time live, but I'm using a work Google account, hence the name. It's Donna. Hey, Donna. Welcome to the chat. Oh, that's right. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, guys. Well, I don't have any sock needles at all. Well, I mean, you might know someone who can help with that. Just saying, I need to top that up with something a bit warmer. It's getting a bit cold. Got my T2 thermos. Hopefully I don't splosh it on my craft. Here we go. I've got, guys, like, it's really funny. Over here I've got like water and lozenges and more tea and just like, I really want to make it. But I'm like looking at the time already and it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Freaky Geek says I hit that like button an hour before you started. Can I still get a sock kit to go with the needles? You can. So the sock kits are available up on my website at the moment. They're available on pre-order. I need to check that date. I do need to dye another batch of the colour because I think all the colour skeins, there might be one or two that are still don't have a grey. So I do have the mist in stock. So if you wanted to separate out, I might just drop to the other camera. This one's really not doing us any favours with the colour. So if you want, oops, the colours with the mist, that I've got mist in stock. I don't currently have the others right this second, so I can't like ship it today. But if you're happy to wait, the other colours will be ready soon. And then more colours will be ready by the end of next week. So, you know, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's happening. It's all happening. I'm also getting ready to release, what am I calling it? The Mega Mini collection. So you get a 25-gram mini of all these colours, so you can do something really cute with it. So this is about 6 grams, if that puts it into perspective for you. This is 50, so you get half of this one for every colour, and they'll be just, you know, packaged up in a big bag, all looking pretty with their cute names on them, which I will tell you all later because I've left my list inside. Chalgo needles, yeah. Where are we? I wonder who was the second to do this. Oh gosh. You know, since I've managed to finish a whole pair of socks and all. That's right. We were talking. Who were we talking to? Someone about knitting their first pair of socks. Melissa. The pattern that these kits were originally dyed for, which is Rainbow Socks by Michaela Richter. It's a free pattern. It's over on Ravelry. It is a really good beginner sock, okay? I also have full tutorials, step-by-step instructions in a playlist called the Rainbow Knitted Sock. It's with the original rainbow colours and greys, so the colours are slightly different, but other than that, it's the same. So it has the full video tutorials which can step by step you through each thing about color joining and your options there. The other thing is if you want to use that pattern but then have something like a self-striping sock, like, you know, something that Half-Baked Hand Dyed or Heather Made has done, then you can totally do that and you don't have to worry about any of the color changing. You just do the knitting part of it. And because you are knitting circular, you're knitting in the round, you don't have to worry about purl stitches. So it's well, until you get to the little heel section and there's only a few purl stitches, but by then you'll be very comfortable. I use that pattern for my normal socks, such an easy pattern to follow. I do as well, and it sits nicely on my feet, which I love. I find some socks are a little tight over my arch and I have to kind of like allow extra stitches, but this one just seems to sit really nicely. Jackie's popped the link in for the rainbow sock pattern. Thank you, Jackie. Fran says, woohoo, I need that mega mini kit. It is coming. It is coming soon. The next batch of colors it gets made up. I'll make up 1 or 2 of the mega mini packs so I can get some photos and things like that. So there'll be 2 of those available and then go from there. Okay, you've convinced me. Fair enough, fair enough. Kim says, do it, Lisa. So you need to do it. So we've got all these leftover colors. Should I continue on with this or should I, like, I mean, I like the idea. Okay, this is the thing. I like having little projects around that I can just do little bits and bobs on, right? That I can just sit on the couch and I can just do a little bit of like, and it's done. Okay, is that the, yeah, that goes with that one. So, you know, so little bits and bobs just to get it sort of done and finished. I love big projects as well, and I've got heaps of those. But sometimes it's nice to have a project that has no time frame. The safe at home blanket knit or crochet. Now I bought that safe at home pattern and I started it. I have to confess, I found all the color changing just a little not as much fun as I'd hoped. I probably, look, the other thing was I started when I wasn't feeling great. So I probably need to give it another chance and go back to it as well. Because I mean, I did buy the pattern, so there's that. Now, when it comes to using the 4-ply yarns, I reckon a 3mm hook does a good job. I mean, admittedly, I'm a pretty loose crocheter when it comes to tension and stuff. So I find the 3mm works really, really well. When it comes to the knitting, though, I do tend to go down to about a 2.5 or a 2.75 depending on what I'm making. I think with the at-home blanket I was working on about a 2.75 because it doesn't, like, if I'm making socks I drop right down to a 2 or a 2.5 mil because I want that denseness, I want the tightness of the actual stitches because you need them, otherwise you wear through your socks really fast. But for other projects like knitting projects and things like that, I don't really need that sort of level of, you know, compactness. I don't even know if that's a word. Is that a word? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, but with the Pegasus, I like a 3mm. I didn't bring in any of my granny squares that I've been working on. They're also done with a 3mm and they look really cute. I could probably do a granny square with one of these colours just for funs. Just for something to do, like smooth this. So, because this is the thing, right, guys? I've made a rainbow sock kit, but you don't have to make socks with it. There's 5 grams of each color, about 20-ish meters, 19 to 20 meters of each color. So you can totally do whatever you want with it. It's your yarn. I am not the boss of your yarn. It is your yarn. That was my Mitre Square blanket until I finished it. Yeah, that was also enormous. Your Mitre Square blanket came out to be like nearly king size blanket, didn't it? Darwin says, I need some bobbins. Pegs are going okay at the moment, but I think proper bobbins will be better. So what Darwin is talking about there, I didn't even bring that in. I mean, that's looking amazing. So some of you know that during isolation, we had the Fiberific ISO Zoomy chat going on, and the details are over in the Fiberific Fun Zone. And what we did back sort of months ago was decide that anyone who wants to get involved can. But we decided to each make an 8-inch, like 16 8-inch squares, because there were 16 of us involved. And we all made these squares, and now we all have these blankets with 1 square from each person. And what happened is Leanne created this beautiful banner using what kind of crochet is that, guys? That we're using to make the banner. It's my brain won't tell me what it is, but anyway, it's making like words out of block stitches, and it's looking fantastic. Okay, but the catch is you need to use yarn bobbins. Now, I 100% recommend you go to Fiberific, you hit the affiliate link, you go through to Knit Picks. Every purchase that you make, once you click that link, does give Fiberific a little commission at no additional cost to you. So it's a really super duper way to support Fiberific, especially if you're not in Australia. And go and get yourself some of their yarn bobbins. They look like these little white plastic domes, and they actually pop open. You wrap your yarn around them and you pop them closed, and it looks fantastic. Like, it holds the yarn fantastically. Like, it does not slip out, and you can keep it quite firm so they sit at the top at the back so they don't get swing down and dangle. And I love them. I absolutely love them. So I highly recommend jumping in and going and getting some of those bobbins if you're going to do any sort of intarsia or block stitching. So Knitspin Girl says that the Battenberg, because I was asking about that before, the Battenberg is a little granny squares you crochet together as you go, no sewing. Gotta love that. Yes, I do kind of love not sewing things together. I do if I have to, but I kind of don't if I don't have to. Don't if I don't want to. Kathy says the spatial property of being crowded together, concentration, denseness, density, tightness. Oh, we're talking about whether I know the word. That's right. Like, I was like, is this even a word? I don't know if this particular block stitching that we were doing is technically intarsia crochet. It's a slightly different way. I've done a lot of intarsia crochet and this isn't the same. But it's a similar idea. So if you go and check out Fiberific's Instagram, I think I've got a photo up. If I don't, I will do soon. Oh my God, you're complaining blanket stitching. What? Yeah, I still haven't done all that blanket stitching either. I got a whole nother project to finish. I got plenty of projects on the go. There's no issues. I just want something. What I want, guys. This is what I really want. You ready? I want a project that I can just sit on the couch with my feet up and just do, and not have to think about and not have to prepare for. Just pull it onto my lap and just do it. And at the moment, all the projects that I have, and it's because I'm feeling sick, everything just feels really hard. Okay, it just feels really like I don't think my brain can deal, and especially with the blanket stitching, I cannot really cope. Kerry Randall is off to work. Kerry, have a good day at work. We'll catch you later. Beersheba says you can complain about anything you want. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I've been trying really hard to keep getting things out the door, even though, like, I'm feeling a lot better today than I did this time last week. This time last week, I could barely talk. Whenever I stood up, I just felt really dizzy and lightheaded. So I was just like staying down low on the couch or in bed. Actually, I stayed in bed quite a lot. Fran says, I need a project like that too. My brain is too tired from work at the moment. So absolutely, a sockhead slouchy hat. I do like the sockhead slouchy hat. I've made one before. They are a fun knit and they're not too hard. But now this is the catch, okay? This is the catch. The catch is whenever I do a project for myself, I feel guilty and it needs to somehow showcase the yarn so that I don't feel bad about sitting and knitting. Like, what was I doing? Okay, last week, here we go, prime example. I was sick. and I was sitting on the couch, and I really, really, really just felt like spinning, right? I just felt like spinning. And so I pulled out the spinning wheel, and I pulled out my new Beersheba fluff that arrived, and I just wanted to spin it. And I was setting everything up, and sort of like, it was taking me ages because I had to get the spinning wheel out of another room, and I wanted to do it in the lounge room because the lounge room was where it was warm with my blanket from my lap and all that sort of stuff, like a big whingy whinge. So I sort of had to sit down and have a break, and then I started getting going, and I just all of a sudden I had this overwhelming guilt. If I've got the energy to spin, I should be making more minis, or I should be dying, and then it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't have the energy to stand. I just have the energy to spin, and even then it was only a little bit. Hey, Ruth Young, welcome to the chat. It's your first time here. Everyone say hi to Ruth. Beersheba says, one reason I like knitting shawls, no sewing together. I'm enjoying Dominique's Horizon at the moment because it's easy. I love Dominique Trad's patterns. If you guys haven't seen it, she's an amazing Australian knitwear designer. She makes a lot of gorgeous shawls, and I love them. They are awesome. Jackie says, last week you were just trying to stay alive and breathe, and you're allowed to do this from time to time, you know. It was a bit like that. It was a bit like that. And just like, because what happens is I get a cold and then my asthma kicks in, and then it is really a case of trying to breathe. So I was very, very lucky. And I know in this time there are people getting sick and like really sick and not doing very well. And I just had a cold, honestly. It was just a really bad cold. And then my asthma kicked in and made life really miserable. And so I wasn't sleeping and things like that. But it was just a cold. But I'm not the healthiest of persons. I don't have very good lungs. And so when I get sick for ages, and it's just so draining all the time. Like, oh, I can't believe I'm still sick. Ugh. Fran says she's going to send me a permission slip. Thank you. What have I missed here? Lindsay's talking about something pretty. I missed it. This won't help much with your bitty balls, but I'm knitting the mochaccino shawl from Nurturing Fibers website. So far it's a breeze. I'm using 4-ply with a 5mm needle. Oh, that would be super squish. I think I've seen the mochaccino. Because I've got some Nurturing Fibers. No, it's the which one is it? I can't remember which one I've got. It's one of the blends. Is it cotton and something? I can't remember which one I've got. I'm sorry. But I was looking for patterns for that, and I've gone with the brioche one, which, I mean, I probably could be working on that. But my brain's like, brioche is hard, and it's not. It's a really simple brioche pattern. But my brain's like, like, I'm like, is the stream actually working? That's how bad my brain is right now. It's like, is this actually working? I think it's important to do some projects for yourself because it feeds the creative soul, so you shouldn't feel guilty. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. Allowing yourself the space to actually stop and do something for you can be really hard when you're a sole trader. If you're not careful, you end up working 7 days a week, so take the time. That's definitely true, and I have well and truly done that. So over the and I think the reason this cold hit me so hard is I realised last Sunday, that I had we had that holiday, which I'm so grateful we had. I had like 4 nights away as a family. We came home from that on the Friday, and starting Saturday morning, I was working again. So I was getting things ready for the big wool show, and I was pre-recording some of the interviews with the sponsors and things like that, and it was wonderful. But that Saturday I started working, and then I worked all of that week. Then the big wool show was the following Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and continued to work on. So Tuesday I was packing orders and all that sort of stuff. There's a bird on the roof. And continued on and continued on. And I realised at one stage it had been something like 16 or 17 days since I'd had a day off. So it was just like, okay, I'm not going to work today. And then I realised I ended up working in the afternoon. I walked past the skeiner that had minis on it, and I was just like, tied off some minis, and I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself. The mochaccino shawl has a link. Excellent. Spin Girl says, I'm crocheting a scraptastic granny blanket by Bob Wilson because apparently a queen size mitered square blanket didn't make a dent in my sock yarn scraps. Oh my gosh. Really? That blanket was enormous. Oh no, and they're the squares that I'm doing at the moment for my other crochet, because I'm doing little mini granny squares, and I was doing some mitered knit squares and I really didn't like those. I didn't enjoy them at all. These ones I do a little miter and then I go around and create like a little edge. Have I got any finished ones out here? No. And then I do a little single crochet edge around it, so there's little single crochet all around, so it's really easy to join them. Also crochet joining, way easier than knitting on. Working on part 6 of Floriala by Pip and Poppycock. Oh my gosh. Ruth, that project looks amazing. It really does. It just looks phenomenal. I haven't gone there yet. I've been looking at it like, oh, do I really want to do it? And the answer is yes, I do want to do it. But it's the whole thing. Like, I mean, one thing I did do, right, with the Big Wool Show, I did buy myself some treats. You know, I got my pretty self-striping sock yarn from Half Baked Hand Dyed. I got these gorgeous self-stripings from Heather Made. I got something else. Where's my other things? I got more things. I got some, fibre that's inside because I'm spinning it. I got some beautiful fibres from Beersheba, who's in the chat. If you guys want some beautiful Australian wool, you need to hit Beersheba. Her Castledale spun like butter. Like I basically barely had to draft it, and it was just spinning beautifully. It was perfect to spin that, especially when my brain could not deal with anything tricky. I finished my cardi, but I haven't seamed it together yet. Well, you need to do that, says Chantel, if he never finishes anything. The monsoon shawl by Little Bee would be lovely with that stripy wool. You guys need to be throwing some links for me over in the Fiberific Fun Zone so I can find these later, because when I get off this this live chat, that's what I'm going to be doing, because I'm only because I'm still not well. I'm only working half days at the moment. So after I finish this, I'll go inside and have some lunch and stuff. And then I will have a look through, and then I'll come out and pack some orders, and then I'll, it's not seamed and ends woven. Oh, Sally's right. If it's not seamed and the ends woven in, it's not finished. And if it needs blocking, it has to be blocked as well. So Chantel, with like 9 million projects that are not finished weaving in the ends. Like I'm literally using a blanket on the couch that I have woven in most of the ends, but I missed a couple and they're still hanging out. I've really got to do something about them. Stacey says, I'm casting on a hat with some Castledale right now. Oh my gosh, that Castledale fibre is just to die for. I cannot wait until Beersheba starts getting her fibres spun into yarn. And I know it's a little ways off, but I'm so excited. I can't wait. Oh, I finished knitting the cardi. Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it. You finished the knitting portion. Sally says, I'm working on a Thatcher hat with some amazing yarn. Oh, Sally, tell us more about this amazing yarn. I don't know. Can you guys see my Thatcher hat that I made? Here we go. I'll go get it. Quick. Here it is. This is my Thatcher hat. It's probably a dash warm in Queensland, even in winter, for a nice woolly hat like this one. Oh man, now I've destroyed my beautiful hair. So I've used a skein of Leo 2, which is the mohair silk, and also a skein of Pegasus in the 4-ply. And I have a pom-pom from, where is the pom-pom from? Loopy something, I can't remember. Anyway, her pom-poms are amazing. And she puts these big long ties, so you can actually just tie them in like a really good tight bow and then take them off if you need to wash the hat so you don't have to wet the pom-pom. Love it. Look, I'm sure other pom-pom sellers do that, but this chick's local to me, sort of. And yeah. Got to go to work is calling. Oh, Fran, I'm so sorry. Bruce says that Spanish chick needs to come to Florida. It's hot here. Yeah, not at the moment. We couldn't if we wanted to right now, honestly. Gamer Widows says, I have a couple of fleeces that need washing, but I'm waiting for the weather to be less freezing. Yes, definitely. Bishiba says, frosted about -2 this morning. Beanie was definitely useful. Yeah, you guys are getting some crazy weather down south. So in Brisbane, like we had a cool morning yesterday morning, I think it was. I think we got down to about 5 or 6 here. Excuse me. It is, yeah, I can't remember the exact, but it was cool. It was like nice to stay under your doona in the morning. It was hard to get up. But then I watched on the news and like Melbourne had snow and Tasmania had snow, and I was like, whoa. Lisa bought a yarn umbrella at the big wool show. Need a skein to use it on. Well, I mean, if you get your mini sock kit, you'll have plenty of skeins to trial out on it. You've got a drunk phone, and it's totally okay, Lisa. Like, we've all had drunk phones. My 9-year-old would have words to say about me going away. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. There we go. Did you guys hear? Like, because I follow a lot of, like, geek news, right? But apparently, was it NASA's YouTube channel got hacked? And someone was live streaming to 10,000 of NASA's viewers with not NASA stuff. Yeah, it was a bit full on. So it's like really important, if you have a YouTube channel, make sure that your YouTube channel email is not in any way connected to your business or using the same email address that you use for anything else. Oh my gosh, it's just, and 2-step verification, people, 2-step verification. Oh my God. No snow in Adelaide, but it is freezing. Beer Shiva says, we didn't get snow, we got brilliant sunshine. Gosh, I can't. Heidi says, Emma, I can't get up. I can't get up to get the kids into the next bit of schoolwork. What a shame. Oh. Jackie's been able to see the mountain. Awesome. Bruce says it's 108 Fahrenheit where she is. Can someone tell me what that is in Celsius, pretty please? I heard this morning that Who's the Boss is coming back. Really? Oh my gosh, they're just getting a bit desperate for content. I saw that like Disney now owns The Simpsons, so the Disney Channel has now got like the 30th year of The Simpsons, I think is what it is, and like they're hamming it up. You know what The Simpsons are like. I just had a look at my weather app, and apparently it's going to be only 6 degrees tomorrow. Yeah. Beersheba says that's hot. Like, thanks, Beersheba, for narrowing that down for me. All right, so guys, I love the look of that polygon blanket. And now I'm like, do I really want a second crochet blanket? Should I just pull these bits out and save them for a polygon blanket? I'm like, I'm torn. 42 apparently. Oh, okay, yeah, we get that here. It's hot and humid. Does Florida has humidity as well, don't they? Is that right, or is it a dry heat? I don't know. We get humidity in Queensland, so we'll get like around the 40s around near where I am, and then like 80% humidity, and it's like you walk out of the bathroom and it's like, did I even use a towel? I don't know. I can't remember. I don't recall having been dry in a week. When I get up for a new tea, I'm getting my credit card. Okay. You could do a crochet hexie blanket. I could. I've got. See, this is the problem. There's so many options. Sorry, I didn't realize my tea was in shot. There's so many choices. Oh, I want to show you guys. These are the sheepy ones. So these are Clover's normal ones, right? Is this a Clover one or is this one of my cheapies? No, that's a Clover one. Okay, so that's a standard Clover, right? And they've got a nice fine tip too. Like, I think the tips are very similar. Let me compare now. Compare the pair. Yeah, look, their tips are really similar, right? But these ones are just a little bit more curved and it's just easy to get off and on. I don't know why. But I definitely prefer, I mean, I got little fat fingers too, so the sheep's a bit bigger. So maybe that's what it is. Florida is very humid. Okay. Hi, Annette. First time with you in the live chat. It's a beautiful day here on the Gold Coast. Yeah, because I'm only about 40 minutes from you, Annette. I'm up near Beenleigh. So, yeah, it is. It's a lovely day out today. It got a bit cool overnight, but it was still nice. I went shopping on Monday and there were pockets where humidity was thick along the road and it was different. Really? That's odd. Spend check. That's why I use PayPal. It's easier to remember that than my credit card details. I actually know my credit card details off by heart. That just says how many times I've typed it in. I don't even have to think about it. Like, I know the numbers and the expiry date and the CCV number. Like, Leslie, welcome to the chat. It's a beautiful day in Stanthorpe. Not too cold at all. Really? Is it really not too cold in Stanthorpe? Like, what's your definition of not too cold? Honestly. Like, for me, under 20 degrees, I'm like, no. Quick locking stitch markers, lock type stitch markers. It can also be used in the unlocked position. It's undulated design, prevents stretching of knitting. Well, I mean, I do tend to leave it unlocked. So, I mean, I didn't even think of that. These ones fall out really fast if you leave them unlocked. You've got to lock them. Because look at that. Look, that explains it all. Thank you, Kim, for hitting up Clover and finding that information for me. Sally says, ooh, I have a parcel. Ooh. Oh, the enabling is strong today. Yeah, look, the enabling is pretty strong most of the time. Like, being truthful. Pretty hardcore enabler here. I'm like, man, we have limited craft time in our lives. Craft with the best stuff you can afford, you know, and get what you need for the project. It's one of those things. If you're making like a blanket that's going to be tossed around and the dog's going to lay on it, and hit up the acrylic, right? Go hard on some decent quality acrylic because you still have to hold that while you work with it. But if you're making something luscious or delicious, then get something nice and squish. So yeah, I'm always for Stanthorpe, it's picnic weather. What? Hang on, I've missed something. I do. Sorry, I keep getting notifications on my phone that NASA's gone live again. I'm just like, man, that is bad. Ruth says I have two different types of locking stitch markers. Me too now. I used to just use these ones all the time. And now I use these ones because I like them better. I should probably buy myself another pack because I've only got a few of these left. I lost them. It's 17 in Stanthorpe. Oh, that is lovely weather. That's nice. I can live with 17. 17 is great. Josh says, hopefully it's still nice in Stanthorpe next weekend. I'll be back then. One of the things I love in Stanthorpe, which it's not actually about Stanthorpe, is Castle Glen, the what do you call them? Distillery. They make the most amazing fruit liqueurs, like all different fruits, and they are just unbelievable. So if you get a chance, drop into Castle Glen, and check it out. She's going to learn to knit. Yeah, that's right. So she's not comfortable with knitting and she's going to learn to knit. I would recommend, Lisa, buy yourself a kit, have it there, but grab some 8-ply, just something basic, just to practice some stitches on with some slightly bigger yarn and bigger needles, okay? Because jumping straight into 4-ply, it's totally doable, and plenty of people in this world have learnt knitting socks, right? And if that's what you want to do, you do that. But I highly recommend something a bit thicker just so you can get a visual on how the stitches are supposed to look. and then jump over to the socks then. Ruth says, I have one set is a ring type. So does the ring open and close, or is it just like one of these sorts of things? Like, you know, just a solid ring that just doesn't, you know, just more for knitting than for crochet. I have claw type ones that aren't plastic. Got them from a seller at Bendigo one year. Gamer Widows makes beautiful claw ones. Lisa has 8-ply and bigger needles in the house. You need to sit down and just knit some stitches just to get that, you know, going. They're purple needles. Oh my gosh. I wish it was warm here. It's currently 9 in South Australia. Oh, I mean, I'm feeling a bit guilty. I am in a t-shirt, but I do have the heater on. I just felt like wearing a t-shirt. I haven't worn a t-shirt in like ages, and I just wanted to wear a t-shirt. So, I mean, I probably could have left the heater off if I had worn a long sleeve t-shirt. So, and I found my little, you know, again, I realized these are my little favorites. The little tiny ones that I bought from a craft show one time, and I've been looking at getting some more of them. And but I was talking with the girls yesterday in the Patreon Zoom. We were talking about how different scissors are easier to use, and how sometimes I struggle with scissors and my fingers get stuck, and I have to sort of shake them off, because I've got these great new fabric scissors that have got like big handles that my fingers don't get stuck in. It's lovely. I've been wearing tees during the day all week. Well, I haven't. I've been wearing I've been wearing long sleeve tees. They're still just t-shirt fabric, but they're longer sleeves. I'm feeling guilty. I need to crochet something here, guys. So what am I going to crochet? What shape am I making? Am I making another one of these, or am I doing something else? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like sometimes I don't know if my name's Arthur or Martha. So let me know in the chat. Do you want me to make a little mitered square, or do you want me to do a little granny square, or what do you want me to make? I'll make it small and using this yarn. Square shaped or polygon or something. I don't know. Sally says, I wear a t-shirt every day, but also a Fiberific hoodie. I have my Fiberific hoodie just like over there, just in case I get cold. These are the best scissors. They are really good little scissors. And they're so sharp. And they do have a little protective case somewhere. I do have one. I just don't know where it is. Like, welcome to my world. Spanichick says, a single crochet hexie. Oh, you're just mean. It's just a mean thing to ask. I mean, I'd prefer to do something else if someone else can come up with anything. Beer Shiva says, crochet ain't my gig, so I'm happy to watch you make anything. Thanks, Beer Shiva. Because I had planned just to keep going with these, but now you guys have put all these other ideas in my head, and I'm like, I want to make the other things, but I don't have what I need to do it here. What was Bettenberg? Hang on. Oops. I'll get that going. Bettenberg. Blanket. Let me have a look. Oh, they are super cute. Okay. Battenberg for a start, Chantel. I wrote down Battenberg and couldn't read my own handwriting. Good job. Well done. Is there a... I'm looking here. Sandra from Cherry Heart says, possibly the most enjoyable crochet project I've ever worked on. That sounds super cute. Lots of great talkings about the Battenberg. These are such adorable little squares. Okay, I would definitely do this with some undyed, some natural, which I have but not out here. So I would definitely add natural between my squares. So many. Nope, I got 0 natural. I mean, I got a whole cone of it, but it's not washed. So when so even undyed yarns go through all the steps of dyeing over here at Fiberific, except for the actual affixing of dye. So the yarn comes in if it's pre-skeined, or if it needs, then it just goes straight in for soaking, and then it gets soaked in. I use delicate wash 2 times during my dyeing process, but only 1 time when it's an undyed. So because I'm not soaking it before it gets dyed and then rinsing it. So the undyed yarn comes in. If it needs to be skeined, it's got to get skeined. It gets its little cable tie put on it, gets soaked, it gets spun out, and then it gets hung to dry, because all these yarns come out of like a factory process. And so they do have a little bit of they're a little bit coated. They've got a little bit of I want to say they're a little oily, but it's not even noticeable that much. But when you're going to dye them, you do notice it. Okay, so everything needs to be washed first. So they get all washed, and then they get, so while it's on a cone, I won't use it straight off a cone. It needs to be washed first. So that's where I was trying to go with that. I got the face cam back up. Thank you. Yep. Let me look here. It's a checkerboard thing. It is a checkerboard thing. It looks adorable. Chess is harder. You have to think, yeah, chess is definitely harder. But I'm not exactly very good at checkers either, so. So, and is it just like, I'm just having a quick squiz what kind of granny square it is. It's just a solid granny rather than an open granny. It's just a little solid granny. Let me see if I can. Is it a free pattern? I mean, it's gorgeous. I love it. And I love all the little squares. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm just reading here on the Cherry Heart blog. She made 1,020 little equal squares. 510 of the whites, that's 510 colourful squares, and then 510 white squares. Oh my gosh, she's 4-ply. Wow. Gosh, 3,439 yarns, 787 grams. Wow. The whole blanket weighs 2 kilos. How comforting would that be to be under that? Honestly, I don't want to think about how many ends that is. I'm trying to avoid that in my brain. But it looks beautiful. It just looks so beautiful. Wow. So there is a modular join tutorial that's both right-handed and left-handed. There's a video tutorial. So where am I? I'm on the Sandra-cherryheart.blogspot version of this. That I'm downloading the PDF. Hopefully it doesn't destroy the. Hopefully it does not destroy our stream. Me downloading it. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right this second. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. And how many people have made it? I don't know. I'm not logged in, so I can't tell. That is gorgeous. Okay, I'm opening it up. I'm having a look. I'm going to make a granny square. Scroll, scroll. Finally find the granny square pattern. Okay. I'll do it in this color. What I might do is I might throw it over here so I can still read the chat. It looks like a quilt. It does look kind of like a quilt. I love that it looks like a quilt rather than a blanket. Does that make sense? It's free. You do all the colored ones first, and then you do all the white join as you go and make the blankets. How many rounds in the squares? Let me have a read. 1, 2, 3 rounds in a square. Yeah, there's 3 rounds in a square. Hey, Bob Wilson 123, welcome to the chat. Okay. All right, it just says, oh, okay. So it says make a loop. So I'm thinking, it says make a loop, 4 chains, slip stitch into the first chain to form the loop. So, do they mean magic loop? I don't know. I'm going to magic loop it anyway because that's my jam. Oh. if you use 2 times 4, don't even start on that, Kim. All right, hooks down. I need to talk to you guys about something. And Kim keeps poking the bear. Kim, bear poker, spanner chick. All right. Holding 2 4-ply yarns together does not make an 8-ply or DK. It does not. Okay? And I don't know where it came from. The math just doesn't work that way. Because Kim knows that she's poked the bear. Soapbox time. Yes, that's right. Because what happens is when you hold 2 plies together, you also trap additional air. Okay, so when you hold them together, it puffs it out a little bit more and it makes more like a 10-ply worsted weight. And depending on the 4-ply that you're using, it could be even more. And you just have to, 4 plus 4 does not equal 8-ply. Like 4 plus 4 equals 8 in maths. But 4 plies plus 4 plies does not equal 8 plies because you are not allowing for the trapped air. So I'm just like, Kim has been sending people to me for 2 days trying to get me to bite, and I'm biting now. So as spinners, we learn this. We understand that adding additional yarn creates more trapped air, and that's how I know this, is because I spin yarn. When you start constructing yarn, you understand that the rules are slightly less firm than you think. Like, they're not quite so mathematical. Okay, so yeah, so when you hold two yarns together, you don't just get double that, you get double that plus some, and it's not even a definitive amount. You need to do a swatch every time you are holding yarns together to check. Oh my gosh. What if you ply them? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you twist them. You are just trapping the yarn in there, that air in there then. You're not even just holding them together. So you definitely need to allow for the fact that it will be thicker. So if you want to make it like a worsted weight yarn, if you're seeing all these great patterns for worsted weight, in Australia worsted weight's not widely available. We get a lot of 4-ply, a lot of 8-ply, which is the equivalent of fingering, light fingering, and DK, and that's what we get here, a lot of. And all the patterns coming out of the US are calling for worsted, or lots of them. If you hold 2 4-plies together, you are more likely to get closer to the gauge of your worsted weight. Kim, are you happy now? Okay. Now, I've lost my pattern. I've lost it. It was here somewhere. Here it is. Okay. It is using UK terms, for whoever's asking what pattern construction it's. I'm thinking, hang on. Yeah, I think it's UK terms. We're talking about doing trebles for grannies, so it sounds UK-ish to me. I've got a video coming out soon where I'm holding 3 skeins of lace weight together, and it is a nice fine lace weight 2-ply, and it's turning into a chunky 8-ply, and it's just three strands. So I've got to get that video out so I can just be all like, look at this video. You're sounding a bit croaky. I am getting croaky. I am. Lindsay says, I don't know why we have a thing for worsted here. DK is so much nicer. I personally prefer DK, but I'm not going to, jabber on about that. Hey, Ida, welcome to the chat. Wraps per inch isn't an exact measurement. Swatching is best to know the yarn will behave and measure up in your project. I 100% agree with you, Ida. Sometimes having the wraps per inch is good information to have, but I 100% agree with you that you will not know how a yarn is going to act and react within a specific pattern unless you test it in a swatch. Bob Wilson, thank you so much for a super chat. You are awesome. I love that little we're keeping it up. That's awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah. All right. Let me just have a quick squeeze through this pattern. So it looks It looks pretty basic, and that's what I need right now. But my brain's still like, oh my gosh, it's so hard. Baby Bergs is her pattern for the coasters that corresponds to the blanket. It's also free, also in UK terms. Thank you, D Wolf. I think wrapping the yarn on the needle is a good way when you want to start with a tail and do a top. So I think I've missed a conversation there. But Wilson says swatch all the way. Yes, look, I know lots of people hate swatching, and I understand. I'm not the hugest fan of swatching myself. But one of the problems is if you don't, you're gambling. You're gambling with your time. Now, if you've got plenty of time and you can knit an entire or crochet an entire sweater and go, oh, well, it doesn't fit, and just unravel it and try again, then that's totally fine. Like, you do you. You know, but for me, I've only got limited craft time, and I know making a swatch feels counterintuitive because you're like, well, I've just wasted all this time making this swatch and I got the right gauge straight away, you know, or I didn't get the right gauge and I've had to swatch 4 times before I got the right gauge. So, you know, and you've also got to make sure you're swatching correctly. Okay, so swatching is not just a square. If you are making something in the round, you need to swatch in the round. And there are some really great videos on like cheetah hack ways to swatch in the round because yarn acts and reacts differently depending on how you knit it. So if you are doing a project in the round, you need to swatch in the round. And it's not even like just making a sleeve size amount. It looks flat, but it's got all strands running across the back because it's kind of like, think of like that you are, so I tend to do it on double pointeds if I'm going to swatch in the round, so I can just slide to the end and keep going kind of thing. But there are things that don't need swatching, okay? So like if you're making shawls or something that doesn't need to fit, you don't really need to swatch unless you are going to be playing yarn chicken. So, you know, it's one of those things, you kind of got to make that decision. Do you want to risk running out because you don't know if your meterage is going to work out the same way as the designer? Or if the designer says this is going to take 600 meters of yarn and you've got exactly 600 meters, but you don't know if she's used an entire skein or just most of a skein and just called it 600. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just need to swatch. Sometimes you just need to swatch. I'm making an I-cord, but not making an I-cord. Yeah, it is. That's exactly right, Lindsay. It's like making an I-cord, but not. Well, it's because like with an I-cord, you knit and sort of push your stitches to the end and then continue knitting round and round and round and you make it really tight. With an I-cord, you're doing like, say, 2/3 of it really tight and then that last one's that big loose and open stitch sort of thing. It's really hard to describe. Franklin Habit has a fantastic video on how to do it. All right, let's get this solid granny square going. Are these contrasting enough, this red yarn and this orange hook? Let me know if it is painful. I just got a message that made me smile. Thank you, Fran. Okay. So let me have a look. All right, I have got to do... Oh, okay. Alrighty, right. All right, they've done... All right. I wasn't reading it correctly, and my brain is... So they're doing a 4-chain start, not a magic loop start. I'll probably end up doing a magic loop start, but I will start with what the pattern says. Then we single crochet into the first stitch to make our loop. Okay. Right. Now I'm not going to be reading out this pattern. You guys can go and download it and get your own copy for free. I'm just going to try and have a go at it. I've got to find my middle of my loop now. There it is. Because it's really important to go and get your patterns from the right place, because that's how designers know and track what's going on. Because this is like a spur of the moment thing, I haven't actually got permission, but this is a granny square, you know, so this is like one of those things where everyone's got different patterns for it, which is why I'm not reading it out how she's written it, because that's where her copyright is and her protections are. Okay, so go and grab yourself a copy of it. Oops, Don't look away and try and finish a stitch, Chantel, because it's just not gonna work. Okay. Anna says I always magic loop. Me too, but I tend to make the first one how they say, just to double check, because they might have a reason that they like it. Hey, 2 Arctic Wolves. Was that your? It was my permission slip. Yes, Spanish chick. I haven't opened it. She's made me a PDF permission slip, so I've got to open it and have a look. Magic loop, magic loop, magic loop. Yes, magic loop is way better normally. I agree with all of you. I definitely prefer magic. She's some good tips in the pattern, so it's worth reading. There is so much information in this pattern, you guys. Definitely worth downloading it. Like, it's well made. It's excellently charted. It is clear. It's not all mushed together trying to fit it on like a couple of pages. It's like 7 pages or something, and only 2 of the pages have got color printing on them. Or 3 of the pages. 3 of the pages have got some color printing, but 2 of those are just some little sketch lines that are color. So, like, it's awesome. You've got to go and grab it yourself, though. Back to where I was. Hang on a second. I've got to make this square. All right, so I've done that 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and then oops, I need to do there. Follow the instructions, Chantal, and then slip stitch to the chain space. Excellent. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, generally speaking, when I do grannies, I do not like doing this big long chain thing at the start. I'm like a half treble kind of girl at the end of a round and join them up and keep them going kind of thing. But as I said, when I'm trying something the first time, I do it how they do it because there could be a reason. Okay. All right, now I have to go across to the next. My brain is not functioning at its usually I'm a good brain self. So it's taken me a bit of a second to read these instructions, you guys. Sorry. It is in UK English pattern, not US pattern. So I'm having to translate it a little bit. I do naturally tend to use the US crochet stitching a bit more than the UK stitching, just because the majority of the patterns that I use come out of the US. There's no personal preference, but my brain prefers the US stitching because that's what I learnt with. Even though I'm in Australia, I learnt on US patterns and US YouTube channels. Battenberg is a cake. I think it's in the UK and it's yellow. Oh, as in the batten, which is why it's named that. Okay, I understand. Thank you. She named it that because she thinks it resembles a cake when it's cut and all the blocks of... Okay, I know the Battenberg cake now. Oh my gosh. All right, yes. I'm so glad I suggested you do this. Me too. Thank you. True Kim, yeah. Not YouTube language or charts. Okay, so a little while ago, I popped a question into an Australian crochet group on Facebook, and it's got something like 40,000 crocheters in it that are in Australia. And my question was, do you prefer crocheting using English or UK or US instructions? And I've got some, like, really, I prefer YouTube videos and I prefer written instructions and all these sorts of things. And it was just like, but YouTube videos and written instructions still use one of those 2 languages. All English speaking crochet patterns use one of these 2 languages. Even if you're using charts, the legend uses one of these 2 languages. And I'm just sort of sitting there, I was just mind blown at the suggestions that people were putting in. And I was like, I wish there was a way to lock it. So it was like one choice or the other. Actually, I think there is a way, and I didn't know it at the time. And people were just adding in their own things. And it was just like, oh, okay, that defeated the purpose right there. Well, this uses hardly any yarn. Like, I'm going to get multiple squares. I'm already, like, just about finished round 2. I'm just at the end of round 2 here. I think I've done something wrong. Hang on a second. Oh, okay. I did something silly at the start. I'm going to pull it back. I didn't read it right. I did their beginning little section and then jumped straight into another chain space rather than reading the actual instructions and doing what they said. I think I used a US version of crochet charts. Yep. US terms probably because of the learning from YouTube. Possibly. Yeah. Sally says we're well aware. Yeah. UK for having a hard conversation. Bob Wilson says, I'm sure someone has already mentioned it, but it would make a great memory blanket. I think so too. Heidi says, for anyone like me supervising remote learning, this pattern is perfect to make while trying not to do your children in. Oh my gosh, yes, for sure, absolutely. Okay, now let me read the instructions. I've done that. Then 2 treble into the same space. Okay. I don't know. Hang on a second. Oh, guys, my brain's not working. Lisa says US because she learnt from YouTube. I use US terms and my partner uses UK terms. He confuses me with instructions sometimes, I bet. I don't know. At the end... No, do you know what? I had done it right the first time round. Go with your gut, Chantel. Go with your gut. Go with your gut. I was confused because on the first round you do 3 trebles and then on the second round you're doing 2. Yeah. So I got confused. It's all good. Sorry about that, guys. A bit of radio silence and I'm trying to work out what on earth I'm supposed to be doing. Sorry about that. I live in the US and I use those terms, but there is a designer, Kerry Lord, that I love and make her stuffed toy patterns. It's tough to convert the terms. Look, you know what? I didn't realize there were 2 crochet languages, right? And the very first time I made something, I used UK not the very first time, but the first time I noticed it, I was using UK terms on a pattern that needed US terms, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. I've screwed this up, you guys. I need to, because anyone made this? Because I'm struggling, right? Round 2, because my brain is just not doing what I need it to do. 3 treble, then 2 treble, 2 chain, 2 treble in each space. But that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Anyway, I've just looked at the time. I'm going to sit down with this. You guys who are not following me need to go over and follow me over on Instagram. I am going to nut this out and read some things and actually check out her YouTube tutorials that she's put up as well, because my brain is totally not working for me. And I'm going to have some lunch and do that. It does say 2D, like 2 trebles, a chain, then 2 trebles for each corner. But before it, it's got an asterisk 3 stars, and then repeat from the asterisk. So I'm confused. So yeah, I'm gonna go and sort all that out. It's been so awesome hanging out and having you guys come and chat and play with me while I am getting back into the swing of everything while I've been sick. I'm still going slow. I'm not 100%, as you can probably tell by my voice. And I'm just catching up slowly, and I'm, getting on top of things, getting on top of getting all these guys out. Some of the orders that have been coming in, that came in for the Big Wool Show, are still yet to go out. I'm still waiting on some items to come in from overseas. I've got plenty of yarn here to dye. Those of you waiting on Mystery Lace Club, it is coming, guys. I'm sorry, the yarn is here now, and it's just me getting my brain together enough to be allowed near heat and dye to be able to get out there and get that done. But I am getting there, and I have everything I need here. Worst case scenario is I'll put the July and August box together, and they can go in one big parcel, and you'll get lots. I really do need to, run away, but I just want to say thank you again to all of those of you who follow and look after me on Patreon, who support me on Patreon, and I will see all of you next week. And go and check out what I'm doing over on Instagram, because I'm going to post some photos as I go along. They'll be on my couch, so they won't be pretty. But I will catch you all next time. Bye.